Do you know how sometimes when you're looking at the markets, you research and research and you just cannot find an opportunity? But then other times you just sit there and trade up a storm, you've got Midas touch and everything turns to gold? Well, we've created a signal to help us separate the noise and so that we can know when to allocate our research time to a good market and when to step back, relax, and then separate ourselves from those noisy markets that aren't going to give us those opportunities. This is through what we call signal strength. We've got this screen in the background, we'll go through it in a second. It's on Level Tube memberships. So well done, congratulations to those who have already upgraded their Level 1 membership to this momentum profile, where they get the full depth of the reports that we've been looking at. So congratulations, thank you to them, and also the feedback that they've been sharing, because what they have been doing with us is helping us shape these updates, and this is just one of them. So here's the momentum profile that we know. It starts off with about 2,000 companies on the ASX. Then we filter them down. We come up with that 30-30 list, the best 30 momentum companies on the ASX, and then where those next leaders are coming from. That's the launch pad, because we know that they do move from one into the other, before they're leaders to then market leaders with dominance. We then added this momentum profile that you're becoming familiar with. The dark blue line in the top left, that tells us how good of the opportunity the market is. How likely are we to find a good, solid momentum trade? You're familiar with that. Here's the new one, right? So the question coming through, the concern was, and the feedback we got was, thank you, you've eliminated the guesswork. We know when to focus our research time. We've got the market timing tools. This goes with the tools and the rules. These are the tools. So in here, we have signal strength. When it's higher, it's better, this top line. We've taken the market regime that was on momentum profile in that last screen and then boosted it with a bit more information, a fair bit more information from the launch pad into the momentum markets, and knowing how those two communicate with each other. Are we going to find good opportunities in the launch pad, or are we better off focusing in the momentum leaders, the strongest companies of the time, to get better performances? And that's what this table does. That's what these charts and this page does. Let's make it full screen, make the charts a little bit bigger, get my picture out to the side, don't need that in the way. Okay, so this is telling us it's an extension of the market regime. How good is the market for finding opportunities? And the market regime is a bit slower. This is a bit faster for a signal. So while we can have good market opportunities, a lot of us are trading at home by ourselves and want that confidence. A lot of you have said it gives me more confidence to lean into my trades, when to take profits. Obviously, it's not advice, see the disclaimers. But within the strong market that we have had, there have been times where it's actually just come off the boil quite quickly, and then suddenly the opportunities dry up. I know, talking to Gary and other momentum traders, we have had patches in the last few months. So we went and took this research deeper to then identify this. When you see this line come off, this market signal, the five-way interaction model, if your portfolio is getting smashed, you're not alone in the momentum side of things. It's happening, okay? The opportunities aren't as abundant, but it's still a good time, as the regime shows and the momentum profile did on the last screen. So this is sort of, am I doing it right? Am I wrong? And then it stops us second guessing ourselves and trying to overhaul our models completely and our whole system. Just, we now have the confidence to stick through with it. These are the tools to help us stick through those. Obviously not advice, get your own advice. The second one down here, this is what's been really important, because Gary and I have felt this for 5 years. We've been working on this and getting the pulse of how it works. And we've identified that there is a cluster, a show, when we see a nice tight segment or industry, a thematic in the launchpad. Quite often that leads into the next market leaders. Backtesting, having a look at that when they show up, it's actually with market cycles. So the launchpad works best at certain times in the market. We've dug into a lot of data to get that, and that's what this chart is going to tell you here. Okay, so we're going to start with the dark blue line on the bottom. Percentage of top 30 momentum companies that have come from the launchpad in the last 45 days. The launchpad gives us about a 45-day lead in, so that's why it's 45 days. Now, how many companies are in the top 30 momentum, the best momentum companies on the ASX now? How many have come from the launchpad? Well, it's been diminishing since about March and April. So that's when it's actually at its best. March and April, the launchpad, we're going to lean into that side of the 30-30 list, look for the opportunities. It makes sense. We're coming out of base breakouts and that kind of thing. So that's when we lean into the launchpad and look for new leaders. But once this blue line starts dropping, and then the light blue line's a slightly predictive one as well, we're going to know to shift our focus into those momentum leaders. The best performing companies, we're going to keep coming back time and time again. Think of Kalamagi kind of thing. It's already shown it's a leader. Minivini, it's shown it's a leader. And William O'Neill, we're going to keep coming back into that, back into them. We're going to keep attacking those top companies. They're going to have come off the boil for a second. They'll give us a sideways shimmy. They'll give us a pause, a coil. You've got the full depth list a couple of pages over for those YouTube, the members in level 2. You can filter all of those. We know that we've got other videos. Check those out if you want more description of how we use those filters. All 2,000 companies, narrow them down to momentum opportunities. This tells us when to lean into those that are up near those quarterly highs. When this blue line is, both blue lines, dark blue and light blue, are coming down, we need to lean into those top stocks. We need to lean into those top performers. That's when we're going to get the best returns. Now, am I going to go cycling? Am I going to go surfing? Or am I going to sit here and trade? Combine this page with the momentum profile. So if these are really low, like they are now, and the momentum profile is really strong, the probability of finding a 10% gain in the next month is really high, well, I'm going to not cycle and surf for as long. I'm going to actually trade more. So that's what these do. Thank you again for the feedback. Keep them coming through. We love how the members are replying to surveys and giving us those solid comments that really help us shape, okay, where are we going to point our next focus? Which tools are we going to bring forward next? There's a whole lot that we use, but being able to put them in a format that others can understand takes a bit of time. Again, thank you for the support. We do really help. You've got questions on joining as members, click on below next to the subscribe button. It says join. If you're not sure from there, there's a whole other video which then tells you once you have joined, then how to get access to the reports. And then we also have a whole list of how we use those reports. That's all in Traders Education, and we'll see you again.